welcome back to another episode of the Game of Two Halves podcast as the boys are finally back in action after an awfully long loan spell away from the channel. But we've returned to our boyhood club and ready for the start of the 2022-23 Premier League season. Today we're going to bring you all of our predictions from the top 7, the bottom 3 who we think are going to get relegated, our overachievers, our underachievers, and then reflect upon a busy transfer window and look at the best signings we made so far. Oh, sorry, not we've made so far, but the best signings made so far, and the signing we think might flop the most. Right, to begin with, Fed, can we look at your top 4 predictions and your reasoning behind it?
Right. For my top 4 predictions, in 4th, I've gone for a bit of a surprise one. I've gone for Arsenal. I think they've been incredible in pre-season and they've had a really good transfer window. They've added really nicely in the likes of Jesus and Zinchenko. Zinchenko is a very versatile player. And obviously Jesus, who's a proven Premier League striker. And once he gets the opportunity to play week in, week out, I'm sure he'll deliver lots of goals. And also have been looking for that type of striker. So I think he's a great addition and he'll do really well for them. So for that reason, I've gone for 4th. I think everything's starting to tick now with that Arsenal side. Saliba's come in and he's looked brilliant as well. So Arsenal 4th. 3rd, I've gone for Spurs. I think the Conte factor is just incredible for them. He's just been really good ever since he's come in, and he's added really nicely in the transfer market as well, bringing in Richarlison, Jade Spence, who's a signing I really like. And then also Perisic, who's a proven world-class fullback. Although he is into scum, I think he'll be very good for them. So I've gone for Spurs in 3rd. And 2nd, I've gone for Liverpool. And 1st, I've gone for City. I think City, with that team that they had even before the window, it was just incredible. And they've gone out and got Erling Haaland, who's one of the best talents in the world right now. And I think he'll do amazing things there. As well as that, Julian Alvarez from River Plate, who did really well in the Community Shield as well. So he looks like a really good player as well. So I think Man City, how they've added on top of what they had before, they're definitely, I think, going to win the league if we go by that. And then Liverpool, obviously, I think they'll do very well coming 2nd, but they have lost Sadio Mane, who is a key piece to their puzzle. And they have added in Darwin Núñez, my man, top player. Roll the clip. No, we won't. But yeah, then they also brought in Fabio Carvalho, who's a brilliant player as well. So I'd like to see how he does. But yeah, Liverpool 2nd. That's my top 4. Sam?
Yeah, it's quite similar to that. I'm gonna go Arsenal in 4th. I do think they're going to upgrade from where they finished last season, and I think we have made some amazing. I think I debatably think we have had the best transfer window out of anyone. So I think it can be. I think we can still upgrade, and I think also a transfer window is important because you can get players out as well, and I think we've got the correct players out. So I think there's been a serious refreshment to the squad. We brought the right players in, strengthening the positions that we need to strengthen in, maybe transform a player, but I think we're looking really good for next season. I'm going to put us in 4th. And I am going to agree with Fed. I'm going to put Spurs in 3rd. I think they already had a very solid foundation with their attack. Kulusevski, Kane and Son, which obviously everyone knows how good they can be now, especially Kane and Son together. But they're again just adding to that, and they're adding to their attacking outputs. And they've now got Bissouma, who's strengthening at CDM, definitely a position they need to strengthen in. They've now got another centre-back in Longley. Richarlison as well has been added. Perisic as well, as Fed was saying. I mean, these are all really good additions to the team, and I hate to say it as an Arsenal fan, but I do see Spurs having a really strong side next season, especially under such a good manager. I'm going to put City at 2nd. This is me basically relying on Haaland not having as good a season as people I think are going to think he's going to have. Obviously taking away nothing that he's an amazing striker, I do still believe that. I'm just kind of going on a bit of a rogue shout that he might not have as good as a season as Darwin Núñez, and I think the Premier come as a bit of a surprise to him. So I'm going to chuck Haaland not Haaland, Man City in in a second, and I'm going to put Liverpool at top. I'll explain my reasoning for why Chelsea aren't going to finish in the top four. But I do think Liverpool, they've got a point to prove next season, especially after finishing second and then losing the Champions League. I think they're going to be really down to it and dedicated for next season to go win that league. They've got an amazing side. Again, this is me relying on their striker, Darwin Núñez, who Fed's always loved, to have a really good season. He looks bright. He looks talented after watching the Community Shield. So let's hope he can go out there and have a good season. And everyone knows how good Salah is. And also don't forget about Jota. He should definitely be underlined. But I think one of the reasons why Chelsea won't get in the top four is I don't feel like, unless they do more in the transfer window, they've strengthened enough in the attacking positions for them to generate the same amount of goals as teams like Spurs and Arsenal and City and Liverpool. Don't get me wrong, I think their defence is potentially the best in the league. I think maybe just behind Liverpool. But sorry about that. I think they're just behind the top four teams in terms of their attacking output, which I think could weaken them next season. Unless they obviously bring in some more players at the end of the transfer window. So that's my top four. Completely agreeing with Fed.
Completely agreeing. You changed the top two.
Changed the top two, but
yeah. Sorry, I changed the top two.
Yeah, and then with me, it's obviously difficult because as you know, I'm quite a passionate Chelsea fan, and obviously I'm not overly happy about the boys including us in the top four. But obviously, it's one of the ones where it sounds correct in saying that if listen, I still believe by the end of August we will still have signed enough players in the positions we need. But unfortunately, at the end of August will be 5 games into the season, and by then we could have lost the league already by just dropping too many points. So it's about getting it done now. So that's why I've gone and I have put Arsenal fourth. Their hype, I do believe, because I think that they got enough squad depth and enough obviously I've watched the first 3 episodes now of All or Nothing, and I do genuinely believe that their team really bonds well together under Arteta, and I can see it this year going well. Tottenham, I'm not included. I just think there's too many players. I mean, them signing Richarlison, I still don't understand. That's just you're signing a huge ego at a huge price for somebody who is trying to replace the best player in the club's history, and I just don't understand when he's going to get a game time at all. Because Tottenham always play a 4-3-3 or a 5-2-2-1, and I just don't see him playing anywhere else apart from striker, and I just don't see how any of the front three can be removed. Despite being impressed by their improvements elsewhere, I just think there's something about their club where they just can't end well. That's my bottom line. For all my sins, I have put Chelsea third at the minute. We've been third for the past 5 years, almost every season. So actually, apart from the last 2. But it feels like third because we've been third for the whole year, basically. I've gone and said them only because they're my team, and I just have that hope going into the season that we are going to do well. And then for my top 2, honestly, I could flip a coin. You both disagreed. I could honestly go half. I could go half and half. Honestly, I could say it might be a draw, and they might have to go and do a playoff game after the season. I think it'll be that close. Honestly, it would depend on how well their strikers settle in. If Darwin settles in well early on, it could be done because City could drop points early on, and unfortunately, you can't get 97 points by dropping points early on. So it's a complete mystery depending on who starts well, and that's why we should head over to the other European places from 5 to 7. Fed, over to you.
Right, from 5th to 7th. 5th, I've gone for Chelsea. I just think they're too light up top, and although they have strengthened defensively really nicely, and with Cucurella and Koulibaly, I think there's still voids in their team, and they're lacking a bit of depth. And yeah, I mean, as you said, Jamie, it's really reliant on what they do for the rest of the window. But as it stands right now, I mean, they've got rid of Lukaku, who wasn't great, really underperformed for them. Obviously, the same goes for Timo Werner. And now that I think are they going to keep Broja, Jamie?
Yeah,
that's
he's been confirmed at number 18.
That is a lot of pressure on a young lad. I mean, we'll see how that works, but if it does work, it will be revolutionary for them.
But
I mean, also you're linked with
not really pressure because I know, I understand. Okay,
that's a
there's not really pressure. No, of course. Well, first of all, Aubameyang's not coming. Second of all, Broja hasn't really got any pressure on him. He's not starting for every game.
But he's going to be starting up top. I mean, unless Tuchel keeps.
Also, I debatably say that there was more pressure on if you could compare, Lukaku and Broja. I'd actually say there's more pressure on Lukaku playing in striker position for Chelsea based on his price tag and also based on the fact that Broja already played in a season in the Prem.
Yeah, but if Chelsea sign no one else,
I think if Lukaku, I think if Lukaku got signed today for Chelsea, pretending he didn't play for them last season, and you were comparing him and Broja, who had more pressure under them, I think Lukaku would have more pressure on him.
Obviously, yeah, because the price tag speaks volumes. But yeah,
so I think Broja with a season under his belt in the Prem, I don't think will be too phased, even if he plays for Chelsea.
Yeah, and then you're also a little bit light in the midfield as well. Obviously,
wait until we sign De Jong, and I'll be
wishful thinking, mate. Wishful thinking. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Should I get now? Clip it.
Yeah, so I've gone for Chelsea 5th for that reason. 6th, I've gone for United. Ten Hag's coming in. Will it work in the first season? I think it's a good project, and he's bringing in the right players. I think we can agree. Martinez and Eriksen and Malacia, they are good signings. But will it all work in the first season? I also think they are a bit light in some positions as well. And
a
bit awful. Their recruitment.
You think? Yeah. I think they haven't been too bad, but
but I'm saying it lost 6 players and
they haven't done enough. Yeah, I think we can say that.
But I mean, how is bringing Eriksen and Malacia a good window to show your intent?
No, but what about Martinez? Martinez, obviously, he was very expensive though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but hold on. But the thing is, the club captain and arguably their most experienced player happens to be the centre-back partnership. Also, their best player at the club, Bruno Fernandes, happens to be with Cam. They signed the Cam. Left back, I understand, it's a good signing. But Eriksen and Martinez, I don't think they start against Brighton on the weekend, in my opinion.
Really?
Well, yeah, because their club captain and Varane, who I think is unbelievable, are their centre-back partnership. And Bruno, the main guy, is the number 10. So I don't know how they're going to work around that.
What's going on at 7, mate? So who 7th, mate?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so United 6th and 7th I've gone for West Ham, continuing where they came last season. I think it's a very good team. They've added well. Aguerd, what's his name? Aguerd from Stade Rennes. For 30 million. I like that signing a lot. Apparently, he's been very
good at Ibrox. Well, he played in pre-season at Ibrox. I watched him. He's an absolute shocker. And he made a mistake in a back pass, and then made a last-ditch tackle, and went to hospital after because he got injured from it. So I haven't heard news since. But yeah.
Hopefully he's all right.
It's been a bit of an interesting one, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then they brought in Scamacca, who is that's a signing that I absolutely love. I think this guy is a very, very good player. I've seen him in the Serie A, obviously, and he scored an absolute worldie via for Sassuolo. And yeah, he's got all the traits of a good striker, modern day striker. Also, he can drop in a little bit, play with the midfielders as well. He's 6'5". He's got that presence, and I think the West Ham fans will love him, especially if he hits the ground running. And he has that potential. He's a young lad, but I think he can do very well for them. So I think Scamacca will play really well with Bowen and Benrahma, and I think that could be a really good link up and front three. That could be quite dangerous if that has potential. Yeah, I think Antonio will get dropped. That front three has the potential for a lot of goals. I think Antonio, despite the really good start he had last season, I think the age is getting to him a little bit, and he's not the same player as we've seen in the second half of last season. But yeah, that's my 5th to 7th place. Jamie or Sam?
Again, I think I agree with Fed. I think Chelsea will be coming in at 5th. Again, kind of referring to the non-generation of, or the lack of generation of goals that I think they're gonna output next season, unless they do bring in players in the summer, at the end of the summer. 6, I'm going to go United as well. I just don't think they've been able to bring in enough players and do the correct recruitment that will be able to improve and strengthen their team and going into the next season. And 7th, I'm going to go West Ham.
I don't want to sound like a broken record saying the exact same bottom 2 again. There surely must be some sort of like Newcastle, some sort of like a wild card in there. But okay, here we go. As I said earlier, I put Spurs 5th. I just think there's something gonna happen. There's something that's gonna go wrong at that club, as it happens every year. It's too good to be true at the minute for them. United, as I said while Feb was speaking, horrendous window. I mean, there's just been embarrassing. They're the biggest club in the world, and they failed to attract any talents. All the players want to leave, including Ronaldo. And if players want out and they're staying at the club, it only leads to further tension, further friction amongst the players, and issues in the dressing room, and that can't be resolved. For Baffa Ten Hag, he's walked into an absolute he walked straight into the trenches, and he's just got to somehow find his way out of it. And 7th, I'm going West Ham. I think they'll struggle. Or to be fair, I think them playing Conference League football this year is going to help them. As there's less than tennis than playing in Europa League, but I think. I think 5, 6, 7 Spurs, United, and West Ham. So I think now it is time to head over to who we think are going to go down. Are there going to be any teams that are going to go straight up and down? Obviously, we do have only one yo-yo team this year, Fulham, but obviously Norwich have just gone down. So I wonder whether Fulham might join them. Fed, do you think Fulham will join them?
Right. So my bottom 3, rock bottom. I think Bournemouth. They haven't got in, and honestly, the signings they brought in, James Tavernier's brother, most notably from the Championship. Like, you can't be bringing in. Obviously, it is a good signing. Like, he is a good prospect, but you can't be bringing in. Wait, there he is. There's the main man.
What man?
You can't be bringing in Championship like quality players. You need someone who's been in the Prem. Some exciting players, and I don't think they have that. And again, the over reliance on Dominic Solanke to get you 15 plus goals to keep you up, that is a lot for him. And does he have it in his locker? We'll have to wait and see. Then Scott Parker, he got Fulham relegated as well. He seems like an all right coach, but I don't know if he'll do enough to keep them up. Then 19th, I've gone for Everton, which is a bit of a surprising one. But, the Premier League is full of surprises. So obviously they've lost Richarlison, who was their main man. They haven't replaced him as of the 4th of August. Then DCL's just got injured, so that could play a massive part in them getting enough goals, because right now they're looking really thin with attacking options, and the signings like Dwight McNeil, James Tarkowski, you're just signing players who've just got relegated. I mean, James Tarkowski and Dwight McNeil, they're not bad players, but you need something a bit more
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, you know, that will get you those goals and stuff like that. And yeah, so until they don't get the replacement, I think they're heading to the Championship. Everton fans won't like that one, but yeah, that's what I think. And then 18th, I'm going for a bit of a surprise one. Looking on it now, I don't know. I really don't know. But I've gone for Southampton. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Rebo.
Yeah, Joe Rebo, you bring him in, but I don't know if it's going to work for them. Like towards the back end of last season, they were woeful. Their form was absolute rubbish. So who knows, that may continue. But I think they've brought in some decent players, a lot of young players, I think, from City as well. And obviously Ward-Prowse, he's their man. And I think they brought in this guy from Bordeaux, who's apparently very good. So I'll be interested to see how that works. But, you know, I'm going for a bit of a shock one, and I'm going for Southampton. Whether it will work or not, we'll see. But I think Fulham will stay up.
Do you mean how I'm doing it?
Yeah, go 3, 2, 1.
Now my bottom three to begin with. Hachu, my baby. That is the second season syndrome of Brentford FC. I just don't think they're going to stay up this year. They made a fantastic signing in Aaron Hickey at left back, and I'm hoping he does well for Scotland in the future. But I think Brentford are going to go down. I think Thomas Frank's a good coach, but I think in terms of their current squad, they haven't got enough quality to remain in the Premier League. Then I've gone with my first of the yo-yos, to begin with Bournemouth. No explanation needed, not enough quality, and they're going to find it very difficult to stay in the league. Then I've gone for 18th. I've gone for you both boys might disagree with, but I'm back to the yo-yos. I've gone with Fulham. I think Fulham have been unbelievable in the market this summer. I think obviously bringing in players in every position basically. They've strengthened all over the shop, and I think they've done superb in that aspect. However, I still believe what goes around comes around. There is an inevitability that Fulham and Norwich and Bournemouth, I guess, just cannot stay in the league for over a year. Fulham are going down, and Mitrovic will sit on the bench all season once again.
Yeah, similar to Jamie in two of the positions. I think 20th. I'm gonna go Bournemouth. I just don't think they're gonna have enough in them this season to maintain their position in the Premier League, and I just don't think they have the players. And to be honest, I think they're just not as good as most of the teams in the Premier League, and therefore I do think they're going to go down. I do respect a lot what Scott Parker did to get them up, and I think they will have really good moments this season. I do, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. 19th, I'm going to go Brentford, agreeing with Jamie with the second season syndrome, but additionally adding on to that, I think Eriksen was, a big catalyst last season in their succession, especially in the second half of the season. Once he came in, it really helped the team generate goals and generate chances, which they're going to really miss out, and they just haven't really been able to replace him, I think. And similar to just losing important players, I think Everton are going to go down in 18th. I think Richarlison is a big miss for them. I think he was just huge in terms of bringing life to the club on and off the pitch. And I think he was big for them. And I think it's going to be a big loss for Everton. And I do think, like Fed said, I just don't think they've made the signings that are really going to justify why they can stay up again. They did get, fortunate last season in staying up, but I don't think it's going to happen for them this season. So I'm going to put them in 18th, Brentford place in 19th, and them in 20th. But I do think it will come down to the wire with Everton and Fulham.
Yeah, well, actually, the reason why I didn't put Everton in my team, because I think Everton will be bottom 100% by November, but I'm almost 100% certain Frank's going to get the sack very soon, and I think they'll bring in a manager with more experience to turn it all around, possibly Big Sam. But
Sam Allardyce, he's the man.
They'll bring in somebody. Yeah, my prediction: Frank will get sacked before Christmas. Right. Without further ado, let's go into our prediction on the overachiever and the underachiever for this league. I'm going to go and reverse the order, give Fed some more waiting time, and begin with Sam for your overachiever and underachiever to play.
Yeah, so I think Leeds are going to be the overachievers this season. I think their recruitment has been fantastic. I really like their manager. They have lost out on a couple of players, but I think that will kind of be made up for by their recruitment. I think Aronson is a fantastic player. He's going to be really, really good in the midfield, really, really good. I think my underachievers this season, I guess I'm going to say Chelsea. Considering I'm putting them in fifth, I think that would definitely be an underachievement for Chelsea because their expectations are definitely to finish in the top four. So I'm going to go with Chelsea for this season.
Then I'm going to go for myself. I went for my overachievers. No, sorry, I'll start with underachievers. I thought my underachievers could either be Leicester, but I think everyone knows they're going to struggle, so I don't want to say underachievers. I could have gone for Aston Villa because they've made some unbelievable signings. But once again, I think the same with Frank. I think there's no way Gerrard's going to last in this league. I think especially now with assistant Michael Beale leaving now to be the head coach of QPR. He's got no backup, and I think he's going to struggle tactically in the league. So I think I could say them. But I've gone with Wolves. Wolves last year nearly had a late embrace towards Europe, but obviously just fell short at the last hurdle. But I think they haven't strengthened enough this summer and have lost some key players. And I think Bruno Lager hasn't had that backing from the club. So I think they're my underachievers, Wolves, this year. Then for my overachievers, I'm only saying it to contrast what the boys were saying earlier about the Saints. Listen, I'm obviously quite a big fan of Ralph Hasenhüttl, and I think they've made enough improvements around the pitch, especially in their centre mid role with Joe Aribo. It's unbelievable. So I think they might have punish someone like 10th because I think currently they're set to go down. So I think they might have a better season than people think.
Yeah, similarly to Sam, I've said for my overachiever, I've said Leeds. I think the additions, despite losing Rafinha and Calvin Phillips, they've added really nicely. In Brendan Aronson, Tyler Adams, Luis Sinisterra, who I really like from Feyenoord. He's a brilliant player. So I think that will do them good, and I think they'll finish quite nicely and have a bit of a gap from the relegation zone. So yeah, and then also Jesse Marsch, I think, is a very good gaffer. So I've gone overachiever Leeds, and for my underachiever, I've gone for Wolves, similar to Jamie, because I think they haven't added enough quality in that side, and again they finished poorly in the back end of last season. And in terms of quality, there's a little bit there. I really like Max Kilman. I think he's a brilliant player. Connor Cody. They've got a really nice back line, but in terms of the attack, relying heavily on Raul Jimenez, who hasn't been the same since that head injury. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I think they could be looking at like a 12th, 13th, 14th even place finish this season. Yeah.
Right. So now we can reflect upon the obviously we're only at the halfway stage of the transfer market this year. So currently we are only halfway through the transfer window, as this summer has been extended until early September. So it's difficult to get the full gist of things, but we are going to make an early prediction about what we think is going to be the flop of the season and the best signing of the season. To begin with, I'll start. As point in filming, he's not fully confirmed. But I'm telling you that he's going to join tomorrow, definitely 100%. And I've got to show that Marc Cucurella is going to be my signing of the season. And let me tell you why. Obviously, for the past 18 months, Ben Chilwell has done a very, very fine job. He's done very well at left wing back. Not world class, but he's done a very good job. And obviously, in November last year, he did lose an ACL in a tackle at home to Juventus, and that unfortunately put him out for the season. And we obviously suffered massively since then. Our downfall of our season last year started after that game. So that's obviously been a huge loss. because you can't play that position. Alonso hasn't had that same impact in the team. So therefore, and also Chilly's been back now. He came on for 20 minutes against Watford, and he's been kind of training all summer and in pre-season, but he's looked miles off it. Miles off it. I mean, absolutely miles off it. Fitness is not even there. Physicality's not there. Lost all his pace. And I've had chats with physios in the past, and all another physios I've spoken to at Chelsea don't think he'll come back as the same player as he was. It's a shame because he was great, and he obviously was quite expensive as well. However, let me tell you about Cucurella. The kid's unbelievable. He was at bloody Getafe for for 2 years. Oh, really knew him from FIFA. Remember on FIFA? Yeah. Oh yeah. Barca. Yeah. Played a bit. We didn't watch him at any of the academy of Barcelona. But I'm saying he was at Getafe for a few years. Didn't watch him there either. But he got kind of FIFA. That's obviously not a great reason. However, last year he got his big money move to Brighton. And over Solly March he started. Obviously, Solly March being a very solid left back, it was tough to get over him, but he did that very well. And last year, the kid's got it all. He can go forward. He can score goals. He's got an unbelievable cross on him. He's rapid. He's so technical, and he's got I'm pretty sure last year he came like second for tackles and interceptions in the league, which is just unbelievable. He's so well-rounded, and I think hefty price of £60 million. The kid's going to be unbelievable. I cannot wait for him to start, and I honestly think he's going to be so pinnacle to how he play. That's why I think it'll be the best signing of the season next year. For the flop, just double checking what I wrote before I make something wrong. Oh yeah, I said one of the Arsenal guys. Obviously, didn't go for Zinchenko or Legis because I thought they'd be fantastic. I have gone for Fabio Vieira, only because he's come at obviously quite a big price tag. There's not much expectation on him at all because he's from Porto. No one really knows what he's like. I'm only saying he's got pressure because of his price tag, and in my opinion, there's no way he starts in midfield. Arsenal currently have got 4 or 5 centre midfielders who start over him, so I can easily see him just being used in the Carabao Cup games before they get knocked out, and on Thursday nights in the group stages before they knocked out of that as well. So I think he's going to be used very minimally and not very oftenly. So yeah, that's my 2, Cucurella and Fabio Vieira. Sam, over to you.
So my signing of the season, honestly, it's no bias, but I think it just as like we've been going over it. I think I normally go and say Gabby Jesus because honestly, I think he's going to be fantastic. I think he's definitely a player who can score around 20 goals for us. And I think he's definitely the player that can take us to the next level. It's exactly what we needed going forward. But I really do think he's going to be special next season. I'm going to go for William Saliba, mate. Honestly, what a player.
What? Is he a signing? He doesn't count.
Mate, young player of the season for Ligue 1, mate.
Wait, question for you, Sam. Does Saliba start over Benoit or Gabriel? Because what my fact from Arsenal fans is that these 2 guys are absolute saints. Gabriel and Benoit. Does he start over them?
I think he definitely starts over Ben. I wouldn't say he definitely starts over Ben White, but I think he's actually a better player than Ben White. And I think that's actually. I think
I'm better than Ben White.
He'll definitely start the first game because Ben White's going to play.
Tomiyasu is injured, but I think Saliba's really proven to us in pre-season that he's here and he's here to stay. He looks very composed. He looks quick.
Great ball control.
He loves mate. He can take one down from the air if you ask him. But I really think he's going to be good for us next season. I think he's going to take our defense to the next level. And again, he's just adding a bit more depth to that defense as well, which I think is great. In terms of the old flop of the season, I'm going to go for Scamacca. Fed's going to kill me, but
baldy.
But I think his price tag is realistic. So I don't think I'm really relating to his price tag in any way. I just think that jump to the Premier League may be quite challenging for him. And actually,
to the Premier League, he's 6'5". He's perfect modern day striker. He'll get
so with Haller.
I
thought earlier, Haller was the exact same scenario. He's not gone to Ajax and scored that other season.
A different.
And then
I think it could be actually a bit of a similar scenario with Haller. in the fact that he might just not gel in with that team. And I think he's going to end up struggling for them. I did watch Sjoerd Schumacher in the old Finalissimo. You can catch one on the TikTok if you want.
Oh, really? I
Huge.
didn't play that game.
No, he got
Yeah.
subbed on, yeah.
He got subbed on.
How was he? Play well?
I couldn't.
No,
remember
but
him.
think about his performance for Milan. Like, he was brilliant.
Oh,
Me as a Milan fan, I can acknowledge a great player when I see one. In the Serie A.
Fed, you got one. You got 1 out of 6 million in Darwin Núñez. Okay.
Wait,
not-
what have you got then? What have you got? What have you got to show for
Mate,
yourself?
everyone
You've
has ever
got
existed.
Nothing, mate.
What-
Everyone.
what-
Fed.
what-
Before I was born,
That's
I saw Messi playing in the favelas. I'm telling you, I saw it from a young age. However, I did see Andy Robertson play in a friendly in 2012. Sorry, in 2014, Scotland, Nigeria at Craven Cottage. I was there. He played left back at the time. He was playing for not for Hull yet. He's playing before that. He's playing for I think it was St Mirren.
Dundee.
No, it's Dundee. Yeah, so Dundee United, and he was absolutely fantastic. And I told my dad then he's going to be the best left back in the world. 8 years later,
Well, you don't have the footage to show for it, mate. All right.
cameras weren't born. Cameras didn't
Okay,
exist back then.
Sam, is that you done? It's good.
Yeah.
Well, I can't believe it. Anyway, best signing for me, I've gone for Gabriel Jesus. I think, yeah, it's a bit
Generic.
Here we go. Yeah, it's a bit generic. He's expected to do well. You know, he's going to be the number
think he'll
9.
flop.
He's the main
I'm
man.
so glad we didn't sign him.
He's got 20 plus goals in him next season. I think he's
In
that
his
type of
dream.
striker, playing week in, week out. This is what he needed. So I've gone for Gabriel Jesus. But I also want to give a shout out to
Eddie Nketiah.
Leeds new man, Brendan Aronson from Salzburg or something. I think he's just from Salzburg.
Yeah.
This American lad. He's had a brilliant pre-season and he looks like a proper player.
Yeah, see him against Villa, mate. Him against Villa. Watch that
Yeah.
highlight. Unbelievable.
He looks a really, really good player, very good central midfielder. So he's on my list as well. But in terms of the flop, I've gone for Dwight McNeil. I just think it's really random, but he's just I think he's
No goals last year.
he's miles off it
Scoring.
from what I saw last year. He's
No, except Everton 2 seasons ago. What a goal!
Yeah, but
yeah, fine, but I just
can't go
don't.
through a
I
whole
don't
season without
think
scoring as a Premier League footballer. Yeah, I can't believe it.
yeah, I mean,
I said, have you seen much of Sesko yet from Salzburg?
the Sesko from Leipzig, or no, Salzburg. Yeah. Oh, he looked really good in that friendly.
He looked unbelievable.
Unbelievable,
Honestly, unbelievable. Like,
but-
I mean, like height, pace, everything.
Yeah, but I think it's like the fee in question is like 50 odd million, so it is pretty steep.
Ridiculous. No way would anyone pay for that just yet. Listen, obviously
100%.
it could be next summer where they might have a run in Europe and then like find
Yeah,
out
I
he's
think he needs a
unbelievable,
season where he's like,
but- Yeah.
you know how Haaland had that, even a half a season where he just went
Yeah.
crazy and
That's Salzburg, that Champions League run, yeah, huge.
yeah, exactly. Then he gets the big move in January. But I'd like to see more of him, and I think if I was someone high up at Premier League clubs, I think I'd like to see more domestically.
Yeah, exactly. Give him a 6 months towards the year. Well, guys, thank you for watching our yearly episode. We'll be back next year. Nothing in between, as we'll be focusing heavily on the vlogs and
Please check
studies.
this out. That's in the link.
So, boys, I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you when you're older.
Also, what we'll do, we'll react to this. At the end of the season, we will react to this. So this will be funny to watch back. We probably got most things wrong, but anyway.